From Latrobe Motorsports Studios, this is Ride Along with Howie from the fast half-mile track at Latrobe Speedway, where it's grassroots racing at its finest. Here's Howie.
Race fans, guess what time it is? It's time for Season 2 of Ride Along with Howie, sponsored by Joe's Body Shop and Towing. And tonight, we got a special guest. It's a person I interviewed last year in a different position. Last year, we interviewed John Over, the pilot of the K2 Engineering Crate Late Model. Now, tonight, it's going to be John, but we're going a little different route. John is actually the president and CEO of K2 Engineering. And K2 Engineering is the proud sponsor of our crate division at Latrobe Speedway. And he also sponsors some other cars. And what we wanted to do, John, and first of all, I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to go for a ride. I want to talk to you about how has sponsoring race cars benefited K2 Engineering?
So, any type of marketing aspect that we do at K2 Engineering, we look at, developing relationships and, the racing fans and the racing family and racers themselves, they're part of my family when it comes to that type of work. And, when the racers and the race fans, if they're looking to have a survey done or they're looking for some expertise relative to any type of land development plans, sewage systems, and things like that, that's the stuff that we handle. And, we give everybody a fair price and we try to treat them right. And we go above and beyond for the racer and the race fans whenever we know they're associated with racing activities, they get a little bit better deal. So,
and you can actually tell by, I guess, referrals, you're racing, if it's helping or hurting the marketing, if what's most effective. And, you do a lot of community events too up in Uniontown and out in that area. But overall, what has been your best marketing, getting the name K2 out there?
Absolutely, racing is one of them. And because you look at the number of fans that are in the seats every Saturday night and Friday night. So those all, if those people spread the word to one person and it just spreads from there. And typically in a marketing aspect, one person will affect 10 other people, okay, in a positive language. So for me, the race fan and getting 2,000 people to see my name on a car that I drive, my name on a car that the other racers are driving, it's important because that's a tenfold type of event. But we also do events, like you said, in all 5 counties that we work in. We work in Washington, Westmoreland, Fayette, Greene, and Somerset counties. And we're always working with township supervisors and the Township Supervisors Association to develop our name and name recognition throughout those communities.
Have you ever been out on a job and somebody just stopped by to see, is this John Over, the race car driver there? Or, have you had people come up and recognize you from that aspect? Or is it always, you're the guy who did my surveying or whatever?
No, it's very surprising. A lot of the events that I go into Westmoreland County or in Somerset County or even Washington County, I'll go into those events and some small child or the parents will see me behind the table sponsor or basically talking about K2 Engineering, and they'll ask me about the race car. They'll ask me, do you drive it? We came to see you. We saw you race at Latrobe. We saw you race at Roaring Knob. Those are the types of things that I get all the time. So,
and one thing I could always say, even back in the stock car days, man, your cars always come to the track in their pristine shape. You can't tell if it's the first race of the year or the 20th. If there's a scratch on it or a scuff, it's been taken care of. And you have that pride in your company too. I know I've seen a lot of your trucks up and down and vehicles up and down the road. Your employees are dressed very presentable. The cars are always, that's the first thing they see and seeing a clean car pull up, maybe it's an indication of the company that they are dealing with.
Absolutely. I take great pride. I worked with Ron Slavic when, God bless his soul, passed away, but he did a lot of the design work on my company logo and the trucks that are out there running around. But, it says a lot because it brings pride to the employees that they're driving around in nice vehicles. And it basically says a lot when we're pulling up to a job site that we're well represented, and we want to make sure that we're doing the right job and we're doing things right for our clients when we're there. And it goes to even to the t-shirts. I mean, one of the things that I do from the corporate side of things is, I'll buy anywhere from 6 dozen to 10 dozen of t-shirts and sweatshirts a year, and I just hand them out to our clients. I mean, that's it. But when they wear them, that's again our name getting out there to different communities. So,
do you use the racing in the company aspect much, like for Employee Appreciation Day, or just bringing employees or customers to the track so they could experience the other life of John Over?
I do. I mean, I have in the past. The last several years have been difficult because of the pandemic that we went through, but certainly have had K2 engineering nights at the races. Haven't done that since 2019 or 2018, but certainly looking forward to doing it this year at Latrobe and potentially at Roaring Knob also.
And on behalf of all the drivers, I personally want to thank you, because you do a lot of stuff behind the scenes. And being a racer first, you understand that how important it is. You got to have a good purse all the way through, because everybody's trying, and everybody needs money to race. I mean, I don't care how rich you are. If you win and you get that $1,000 win, it's $1,000 you don't have to come out of your pocket. But one thing with you, when you do something, you make sure you pass it on down through. And a lot of people don't realize that. I mean, we might not have the highest paying races, but we have good pay all the way through because of companies like K2 Engineering and people like John Over, who knows that guy finishing ninth is trying just as hard as the guy who finished second.
Yeah, I think it's extremely important to for the fans to understand, even with some of these memorial races and things that go on, they get a big sponsor for the winner, but everybody that's out there racing, spending the same amount of money to buy the tires and buy the fuel and buy the engines. I mean, those they're all spending the same amount of money. So, when they have a big memorial race, even though I don't ask for it and I don't need the recognition, I'm definitely there for those races and making sure that the payback for second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth is increased also, so that those racers also see a benefit from those races.
Now, John, how many years have you been racing? Are we coming up on 20?
So I began racing in a street stock. I believe it was in 2004. So yeah, we're close to 20. Next year will be 20 years.
Did you ever think you'd be doing this 20 years later when you climbed aboard that first Ford Thunderbird street stock?
I did not, Howie. I enjoyed it. I mean, my family was in racing when we were younger, but I never thought that I would be here that long. And actually, at my age, still pretty competitive. I mean, if I'm not having fun and I'm not being competitive, I would have quit. But we're still competitive. We're definitely older than most of these young kids that are out there right now. And my team, my brother Gary and Timmy Koffler and Joe Tessero, we're all 60 years old. I mean, we're definitely the oldest team up there probably. And Sunday morning after the races, we're all feeling it. So where the young guys are probably jumping out of bed and getting ready to go again, and we're dragging a little bit. So
well, look at it this way: in a couple more years, you're going to have that new sponsor. Social Security.
Yeah, that's right. I'm working on it.
And you talk about with the racing, and it's almost like a brotherhood. And you look at like, I don't know if you heard Andrew Yoder, his trailer burned up coming home from Port Royal last Saturday, and he lost everything except for his car. They were able to get the car out, but like the quad, all the track tools and tires and everything they lost. And I actually talked to him, and he was just telling me, he goes, how it's absolutely crazy. He goes, you're racing with people and you don't think they like you because you guys are racing, banging and clanging. But he's like, you would be amazed the people that got a hold of me when they heard about what happened just to help out. And I mean, Andrew's going to be racing this upcoming weekend because of that.
Yeah. I saw that posted on Facebook, and they started a GoFundMe page. And I think you're right, Howie. I mean, racers are a brotherhood. I mean, we care for each other. We're competitive on the night of the race, but at the end of the night, we all just want to go home. We, hang out after the races, do whatever. But I mean, it is a brotherhood. And if any of them at the track or after, during the week sometime, if they call me and listen, I'll tell you right now, I will tell you my complete setup, because when I'm racing, I want everybody else at their best. I want to be able to make sure that if I'm beating you at your best, not when you're struggling. So, and I got to tell you that goes a long way. I know Brett Trimble, who works at Rocket and won the Fast Track weekly championship last year. That man is just, I mean, he's all around a good guy, and he's the same way. I'll call him or text him, and he has no problem telling me whatever I need to know. He'll just open up his notebook to me. So, and I think that a lot of the racers that way. It's just that you got to want to be able to talk to them. So,
and that's actually old school racing when you could do that. Today, a lot of people don't do that, and it's kind of sad. I know Sammy Style was a good friend of mine. He is a good friend of mine, and he used to race. And it was like people would be calling him all the time. Hey, my car's doing this. What I need to do, and it's just like you take the time to try to make everybody the best they can. So when you do win, you beat the best on their best night.
And that's the way I am. I mean, I want to be able to say that I beat you when you were at your best. I mean, what I do to my car, every racer's different. They drive different. So what I do to my car may not quite work with other people's cars, but I mean, the baseline's there and it'll get you close. And I've even told guys, Jess Starbutzel's nephew that's racing the 15 car now.
Zach Heron.
I told him to come over to my shop. Just bring your shocks over to my shop. I'll put them on my dyno. I'll put them on my spring smasher. I'll get you as close as I can with my knowledge. And I'm by far not the most knowledgeable relative to these cars, but I'll get you where I'm at anyhow. So, but
what are your plans for this year? You want to go and try to pick up another championship, or you gonna race when the mood strikes?
Yeah, I mean, at being 63, Howie, we won't be at the track every Saturday. Matter of fact, we're going to miss opening night just because of other things, family commitments that I have. My wife has been gracious enough for a lot of years to allow me to do this, and there are several things that she wants to do this year that involve a Saturday night or a weekend. And, it wouldn't be cool if I didn't give her that opportunity so that we could do some things together that she enjoys also. But
does it make it harder on you not being in the groove of being there every week? And, if you miss a week or two, you got to come back and, I don't want to say learn the track, but see how it changed to adjusting the car, or does it make you better when you came because you don't have a bad book to go off of per se?
Yeah, I mean, relative to if we were traveling a lot from track to track, it may make a significant difference. But especially with Latrobe, I mean, the track is pretty consistent from week to week. And that's all credit to Dennis and his crew at S&B Motorsports. I mean, they do a great job. When Roaring Knob was, in its prime, back when I won track championships there, I mean, it was, pretty consistent from week to week. The track didn't change that much. Certainly the weather dictates a lot, whether the moisture stays in the air and stuff like that. But those are all track adjustments the field adjustments you should be able to make at the track on your car. I've been, I have been racing long enough, and I mean, everybody still tells me that I probably drive deeper into the turn than a lot of people, but that's just my old school way from those black front end rocket days. That's the way you had to drive the car. So,
Now, do you take more pride out of the racing good or the company K2 Engineering, which you found it doing good?
so the engineering company is my baby. It's my pride and joy. I mean, it's, when we started in 2002, it was me, an administrative assistant, and a draftsman. And today, I've got 3 offices, working on a 4th, and 40 some employees working for me. And that's a big nut to crack. And, basically to keep those, I pride myself in retainage of employees and the talent that I have. And, we don't have a big turnover there because, I try to, keep them paid well, keep them trained, and make sure we have a good work environment to work in.
John, I appreciate you taking time out. Appreciate you explaining us, as a company, what you look for when you sponsor an event and the benefits that as a company you guys are looking for. If anybody's interested, it seems like it'd be a great place to work. Check out, do you guys have a website or a Facebook page we can look at?
Yep. Both Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn pages, and they're all linked right on our webpage at www.k2engineering.net.
And just think, in another month or so, you'll have all these engineering students coming out looking for jobs. So,
Yep, we actually do very well with any young engineer that's maybe a junior or senior in their engineering programs in college. Give us a call. We like working with interns to develop those interns the way we like our employees to be, and then hopefully bring them in as full-time employees as they graduate.
Well, race fans, again, that's John Over, President and CEO of K2 Engineering. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Howie.
Race fans, it's time for our second guest on tonight's edition of Ride Along. We're going to talk to a driver who this past weekend had a good run with his Super Late at the Port Royal Speedway, but had some tragedy on the way home. This is the pilot of the Miller Racing Engine, car number 2, Andrew Yoder. Andrew, welcome to Ride Along.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Hey, I'll tell you what, it had to be nice to get that first top 10 out of the way, but man, a rough way to get home that night. Why don't you tell the Ride Along fans what happened?
Yeah, we're just, riding home out 35, all happy and because we had a really good run with the Super. I compared to almost flipping it the last time we ran it. So we were all happy and went home, and was coming down 35, just about 20 minutes from home, and the guy comes run down the road trying to stop us. And he stopped at him, yelled, "Our trailer's on fire." And it just one of those things, it happened so fast. As soon as we heard fire, we all ran. The wife got her kid out, got away, me and my dad ran back to the trailer to see what the hell was going on. Thinking, like typical trailer thing, like the brake bearings or brakes hung out. Well, all 4 wheels were up, all 4 wheels. We couldn't even see any fire yet. But then I opened the side door to see what was going on, and it just had stuff that we had stored up front, burnt, and smoke and everything else. It just burst. as soon as they opened the doors and gave it some air, it just took off.
What? I mean, this might be a dumb question, but what's going through your mind? You open it up and, you know, this is more than just a hobby. I mean, you know, you got a lot of money invested there and you see a fire and what's going through your mind?
Really, at that point, it's just like trying to find a solution, really. It's like, holy, you know, and we just kind of started trying to get the car out because we knew that was going to be the most expensive thing we had in the trailer. So we just kind of went at it and started popping straps. We were able to get the front straps off, and we went to open the back door and was able to get the back straps off. The back wasn't burning yet. So we just ripped the car out, yanked it out the back end, but by the time we got it out the back end, the heat rolled back because the car got stuck on a ramp about halfway out. The nose was still kind of up in the trailer, and that's when the nose melted off. So we wouldn't have got stuck halfway up the ramp on the cables. Because some things, when you pull on them, they took the wheel turn wherever they want. And I never held our little steering wheel in the back that we used to steer the car in and out as we got caught in the cable. And that's when it melted the nose and stuff off, and the boot started rolling back out the back door. But yeah, it's just, we didn't really think. We just went. It's just tried as fast as we can to get the car out at least. By the time we even got the car out, it was too late to save anything else because it already had fallen through the belt and the roof. The side were starting to melt because everything's aluminum in these things. So.
I mean, you know, it's retro or hindsight, you know, your fire suit was probably 5 feet away, but probably didn't think to throw it on. I mean, I don't know if you have a 2-piece or a 1-piece just for some sort of protection, you know, because I mean, you're in the fire.
Yeah, well, when the fire started, my suit and everything was on the other side of it, so there was no chance to get. Because we didn't have like a cabinet right inside the door or anything. We just had a box. We had all our stuff stored on a shelf. My suit and everything was up on that shelf on the other side of the fire. So that was out of the question there.
And you know, I know you come from a racing family. You have an uncle, Jim Yoder. My God, he's been running super late probably the past 20 or so years. Cousin named Dylan. And you guys kind of race as a family under Yoder Nation. What has been the response from, like, you know, everybody to this tragedy? Because I also know anytime anybody ever needed help up there, you and your wife and your team are always one of the first to try to help anybody you can.
Yeah, we usually try to offer, you know, somebody's got an issue, hey, you need this, or really the biggest thing when we're at the racetrack is if anybody comes over and asks for something, we try, if we can help them, usually help you. Either it's giving them a part or something, anything they need to do. Use one of our tools we have. Not very many people have a welder at the racetrack anymore. We always have a little welder. Blown that out a couple different times. But yeah, but for, you know, you don't think, I guess, like everybody would do such a thing as far as what they did for us so far. They're still doing it. And if something happens like this, I mean, it's just one of those things. You kind of feel like you're at your own, but then next thing you know, you turn around and it just happened so fast. Things just started offers, whether it be money or, you know, I got offered a ride for a car to use. I mean, it's one of them things. They just, like, obviously they don't like me or not. They still apparently want to see me out in the racetrack. So, I mean, it's just, I guess it's probably the most humbling thing in racing.
You know, I always tell people racing is like a brotherhood. And I don't know your family situation, if you have any brothers or sisters, you know, if you do, I mean, I have a sister, and when we were younger, I mean, my God, there were days we probably wanted to throw bricks at each other, but, you know, somebody says something to your sibling, you know, now it's 2-on-1. And, you know, it's just great to see what the racing community has done for you. And, you know, I see you have the GoFundMe page, and you guys already surpassed the first goal, and it just shows how much what you do is appreciated, Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, we do this for a hobby, and basically, but so we have a lot of money involved in that. We go to these races to put on a show for the fans. I guess we put on a good enough show that they want to see us back out there as fast as possible.
Andrew, how long have you been racing?
I think I've been running. I already started go-karts in 07, 08, and 2014 is when we had my first year in a late model. So I'm 12, 15 years.
Did you start out in the limited or super?
Well, my first initial race, Uncle Jim let me run his Clinton County car at the Philly 100 in Hidden Valley in 2013 at the end of the year. So that was my first race was 100 laps at Hidden Valley. So, but then my first full year with the 355 Econos at Ford when they started the 2-barrel deal.
Okay. And I noticed one thing. You're a Schwartz guy. Not many Schwartz race cars around here. What made you decide to go that route? I mean, they're a great car, but, you know.
Well, that kind of was one of them things. It was an old car that my neighbor had that has been around with, like, a really big family friend, we call him. He basically my other uncle, Jim. He too, and he had this old 98 lime green chassis that's been sitting out behind his shop for years. And we were kind of going to run the IMC modifieds in Clinton County. And then out of nowhere, Port Royal said they're going to have a 2-barrel 355 block class. Well, it ended up being, he's like, here's a car for you, basically. And then that was a 98 Sports. We've had so much success with that thing. It was just one of them things, and that's all I've ever done. And even now, we bought the 19 for new in 19, and that year, 2019, we won near everything with it. Rules with the limited and Mason did so we can make it work. It's just one of them things. We just haven't got the super to that point where it's quick and fast yet. We're close, but we'll see. We're really close last year, and then the year was over. Started out rough. Now we're top 10 already, so hopefully we're a lot closer back where we were in the lab team. See what we can do.
And you've actually won before with the super. You had a $5,000 win a couple years ago, correct?
Yeah, they had a big race up in Clinton County in 2017 at the end of the year. That one was a Jimmy Mars car that we ran for Ed Powell. It was one of them. Well, it was kind of cool. I mean, it was basically his last win as a car roof because he ended up passing away here a year ago, or 2 years ago.
Yeah. Now, you raced. We mentioned about your uncle Jim Yoder and your cousin Dylan, and the Yoder Nation. What's it like racing against your family?
Fun, I guess. Sometimes stressful because it was one of those things. They're just anybody else on the racetrack, but when you see you racing side by side or something like that, it's still pretty cool.
And one thing you guys don't know, none of you guys run the same brand cars. If I remember right, Jim's in Masterbuilt, Dylan's in a Rocket, and you're in a Schwartz.
Yeah, so that's just kind of how it all started. Jim ran Rockets for a little while, and we ran for Lindahl and Tom Fogelman. And once Tom Fogelman here, the last guy, kind of got out of it. Jim actually took one of Dylan's little cars, and now it's one of those things they wanted to try, and Dylan wanted to try a Rocket, and seems to really like it. So.
Have you had the opportunity to try a rocket or?
Yeah, that's one of the cars we ran for with Al was for older rocket that just enough of the 10 years ago. But that was the last one I ever got to ride. Other than the first Chili 100 race, that was a rocket, but that was
Okay. Now, what are the plans with everything that happened? I know we talked before, and you said you're basically going to be able to continue on. Is your goal right now? You're planning on going to Ceilings Grove this weekend with the limited?
Yeah, we might end up there with the Super 2. We've got a lot of stuff going the right way already. So, like I said, the only thing that's wrong with the Super was the front nose beats and stuff. Basically just the nose and the air cleaner and stuff. And that stuff is minor compared to the whole burn-up car. So we got all the wheels and tires are right. All the actually running around today. Guys were helping me out, either getting me good prices or loaning me stuff for now. And got enough wheels and tires. We should be able to run both cars if everything goes good. We get everything back together. We all fucked up now.
Now, how do you get both cars to the track?
We always had my trailer, and my Uncle Jim has a trailer that he used. He ran a limited for mud rags, and it's been sitting over at his house. We usually use that trailer whenever we take both cars to the Seal Road.
Okay.
But it's going to be the same way. We got the trailer that my buddy will be here for as long as we need. He's not going to be racing for a while. So we'll probably do the same thing. Just go get that trailer and use it, but we take the cars down.
And what about a fire suit and Hans? Are you going to be able to get your stuff replaced or borrow?
Yeah, that's one of the things I was getting today. I got to thank Fernand's race cars who also helped me out with my safety gear. I got a Hans helmet, a pair of shoes, and actually I got another guy that basically just wanted to really help out, and he offered to replace the one I had, the helmet I had with Simpson. So
oh, wow.
That just showed up today, and that's just one of those things. I don't know what to say to these people. It's just they're thanking me. Some of the stuff I probably could have did, but till I got everything, it just helps out so much. It adds up. But the good thing is with my suit and stuff, I actually had an old one that I usually kept in the trailer just in case something got wet or something happened. And I actually had it left at my house because I washed the boat and I left it at the house. So that's what I had my old one for a couple of years ago. So I now have all my gear and all that stuff ready to go.
You mentioned before there's been a lot of people and company that offered assistance. Anybody kind of surprised you?
Not, I wouldn't say totally surprised. Maybe just guys that I know don't really, every once in a while I might talk to a little bit, but some that never really ever talked to me that I raced against. You just know that, hey, here's this, and Trent and Devin auctioning off doors, and actually yesterday I found out the guy racing against that Bedford like we're all talking about doors. It's just even just the simplest little thing like that. It just makes everything.
I looked at your GoFundMe page and Ceilings Grove Ford, $500. And National Hall of Fame drivers, Rick Eckert, Gary Stoller, Jeff Ryan, all donating to try to keep you going. And that just has to make you feel, I don't want to say special, but good, meaning you're doing something right when your fellow competitors are willing to help you.
Yeah, there's some guys that I don't really ain't fast enough to race up front with very often still help me out. Evidently, they seem to, I guess, worthy of being on the racetrack, so I guess that's not a thing that means a a lot of people, they don't think I'm just out there for no reason driving around. Actually, I guess I guess a word that would do again. Hopefully one day, I'm saying great, for even one other guy. That's kind of what we've been shooting forward to soon. Maybe one day you'll be able to get there.
Well, why don't we go ahead now, and you know what? Racing, it takes a whole team to do this. Let's talk about the marketing partners you have, the team that you assembled. I mean, just looking through, you guys picked up the Mason-Dixon Championship. You've won some good races, a $5,000 win. Ed Powell, getting the attention of him and driving for him, that's saying a lot for you as a driver.
Yeah, I got a phone call one day, like, hey, you want to drive a car? What? It's kind of one of the things, though. He's an 18-year-old kid still. Well, maybe I was 19 or 20, I forget. Anyhow, it's like, hey, you want to drive a car? Well, okay. So I looked at it, decided to try a little bit. I think that was really when I started dipping into supers. eBay was the old and I kind of got my foot in the door with the super. We had a couple good runs with his stuff, and we had that really good run one in Clinton County. I mean, I wouldn't be here without him as far as super. My dad, I mean, that's like without me at all, like none of it at all. He basically, from day one with the go-karts, he's been every race, everything. Like, he does more than I do on a weekly basis. And I can't get, learning, trying to, I guess, but him and my guys, Jim and Sharon, I mean, they're probably, other than, sponsors, those two are probably the biggest backers for me in racing than anything. And my crew guys, Jeff and Chris, and another Chris, without them every week, and every Sunday night or Sunday afternoon, the trailer's sitting here, ashes, they're all over here, helping go through it, seeing what we can fix, salvage. We're here about every night trying to get things going. Even just sponsors too. Well, I guess I better thank my wife. Without her, she comes over and she hasn't missed a race in 13 years. We've been seeing each other, so.
And let's not forget about your little car owner there, River.
Yeah, he hasn't missed a race. He's missed a couple races, but he's that kid. Like, I'd be shocked if he's not racing when he's older. If he doesn't want to race. I don't know. Racing was great before, but now that I had him and if I've been bringing him with, the first trip with him, it's just different.
And most importantly, me and you talked before, you could replace a trailer, you could replace a fire suit. Just thank God you and your family got out of that fire okay.
Yeah, I said when it first went down, it wasn't bad enough for we were really in any danger until we decided to dive into it and save the car. But yeah, it's without all the sponsors on the car, which I know with all the pictures all over the internet, I bet you that's pretty good publicity for some of these sponsors other than the one who melted off that run that was.
Yeah, and knowing Jim Bloom at Animal Graphics, the guy who does your decals, he's probably going to smoke out the rest of your new decal package,
Yeah, make it match.
Yeah.
As far as the car goes, the way you see it in the picture, other than the new rose, the way it's going to go down the racetrack, it's got the black chart look and everything. I'm going to leave it out to you.
Well, I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to be on the ride along, and I wish you success, my friend. Maybe this is gonna light the fire under you to get you up to victory lane real soon, and and this will just all be a bad memory.
Yeah, we're this is going to be totally forgotten about. That's why we're going that week Saturday. So we're going to have at her, start grinding at her again, and hopefully we get the super victory lane. But hopefully maybe a few of as far as these stand third places.
What are the plans for the rest of the year? Are you going to run points or?
Probably not. I really like running the super, some of these bigger shows. Then there's days where you kind of want to run the limit. But we kind of struggle a little bit with the super here and there. But then it just makes me want to keep trying and run it because you can't get it better if you don't run it.
Well, we have a few super shows at Latrobe, and hey, if it fits in your schedule, hope to see you bring that number 2 down.
Yeah, one of the places we'd like to try this year. Where I see what our schedule does. We're planning on running speed weeks this year, which is really cool. I thought about that was weird before I really got into the supers, was able to do it and stuff. So everything comes together. Come time, we're going to follow that speed series. So.
Do you have a Facebook page for the race team or a website if people want to keep track of Andrew Yoder Racing?
Yeah, that there is the Facebook site, Andrew Yoder Racing.
Okay.
My wife does all that.
And she does a good job. And I'll tell you what, like I said, it's a tragic event that happened, but I hope you realize how many people really do care about you and your team by the fact that, so many people want to help you guys out.
Yeah, it's definitely, like I said, it's definitely a humbling thing, seeing all the help and support. It's really not what I like, but I'm one of those really private. We like to do stuff our own way. But it's just one of those things. It's almost, you can say, totally impossible, but we would be off for a little while for everybody. Like help with all the bundles, even with some starting the year. I got so many of those. Whitney Truck and Trailer, Stein Trucking, Strauss Electric, Fritz Trans, Smith Tree Service, Bachman Auto Body, Croucher's Lawn Care, One Excavating, Snap On. Yeah, I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. Miller Race Engines.
Schwartz Race Cars.
Yeah, definitely Schwartz Race Cars. It's being the only one around here. That's pretty cool. There's only actually a lot. There's one more that runs bits with us that we help out, which is the reason he's got a Schwartz. We told him we helped him. Only way we can really help him good at a Schwartz because that's what we know. It's easier for us to take care of our 2 cars, and then if he needs help, we're going to help him easier. Yeah, I can without all them and all the support of my guys, my wife, my dad, my crew. Getting us back on the racetrack, all the people that helped us in the last, hard to believe, it was only 2 days ago, and we're already ready to go racing again soon.
Just out of curiosity, have you guys figured out what caused the fire?
We had everybody has the pit lift now. We had it mounted inside our pit box because we always pull it out of the trailer anyways, and it's right there. So we had everything mounted to that. And I think either something fell off the shelf in the bump out, Pennsylvania's great roads, and hit the button one of the buttons, the razor and lower it, and the pump itself just kind of ran against itself long enough until it started melting something. It never shorted out and stopped running. Never seat popped or whatever you're gonna call it.
Okay.
We're thinking that. That seems like that's where it was the hottest.
Well, like I said, thank God you and your family are okay, and your quick work did save your car, and trust me, everything else can be replaced.
Yeah, we're getting there. It'll help the insurance company, at least. That's, probably great. Don't want to do it.
Well, race fans, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, with the no insurance thing, that's another bonus, with all the great help we've gotten. That's really, without that, I mean, no insurance help. That's all we can do. I mean, now rely on what generosity and love everybody.
Yeah, you know, you never realize, and it's probably something you never thought of, you know, making sure that the trailer was insured and all that fun stuff.
Well, I was under the impression it was always covered by the tow vehicle. But I guess not. All they cover, if it's cars covered by the tow vehicle, is if it gets and it wrecks somebody else's property. It has nothing to do with your own, so it's basically just comprehensive.
Oh.
But it is what it is. Nothing to do about it now, so move on.
Well, I'm sure everything, you know, everything happens for a reason, and good things happen to good people. And you and your family, you seem like really good people, and I'm sure you're going to end up with a nicer trailer and new appreciation for a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, it's definitely one of those things that kind of changes your mindset a little bit. Look at these people when you're walking around a little bit.
Well, Andrew, I do want to take time to thank you for taking time out of your schedule for going on the ride along, and you know, can't wait to see that number 2, the orange and black and burnt now colored Schwartz race car.
Yep, it's either going to be the nice shiny one or the shiny one in the dark one this weekend. So either way, we'll be at Seal-Tite. So.
All right. Well, again, I wish you luck, and again, thank you for taking time for going on the ride along.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Well, race fans, that's going to conclude tonight's edition of the Ride Along with Howie, sponsored by Joe's Body Shop and Towing. And while we have a chance, we'd go ahead and like to thank all of our other sponsors that include Specialty Metal, K2 Engineering, Rock Auto, Seal-Tite, Stone and Company, S&B Promotions, DJS Swag, General Carbright, Gary's Auto Sale, and Latrobe Glass and Mirror. Practice will be going this upcoming Saturday, and we also have a big announcement. We're going to be hosting the first annual Jess Sturbudsel $10,000 to win crate late model race on June the 3rd. More information on that race to come. But again, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in for tonight's episode. And remember, we'll see you at the races.